We're joined now by FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell. Administrator, I know you're headed to Mississippi right after this. What's the latest you're hearing from your team on the ground about search and recovery efforts?
Good morning, Martha. Thanks so much for giving me an opportunity to talk with you today. Yes, I'm headed to Mississippi right now because I want to be able to see firsthand the impacts that some of these communities have had. I know that from yesterday morning, the death toll had risen by 2, and they're still very much in life-saving, life-sustaining mode. The first responders on the ground are doing such an amazing job, some of which probably have lost some of their homes themselves. And we have teams that are coming in. They arrived last night, more coming in today to begin to help plan for and start the recovery process.
And what's the biggest priority for FEMA right now?
The biggest priority for me is, one, making sure that the local jurisdictions, those first responders, have all of the resources that they need. And then second, that we start to take care of these families. I know that the American Red Cross is on the ground standing up shelters. These are temporary shelters. We know families lost everything. And so we need to work with them now and find out what that interim sheltering solution is going to be. And then how do we support them for a longer term while they rebuild their homes.
And to that point, you've seen those devastating images from Rolling Fork. The mayor says the town is completely wiped out. So what do those residents do? Can they really rebuild?
You know, it just depends on what their level of damage is, right? And so that's one of the reasons that I'm going there today. And I know that I'm going to be able to talk with the mayor. I want to hear from him directly as what his residents need. Everybody's situation is going to be individual and unique to them. And so we want to make sure we understand what their unique needs are. And some of these communities, they are certainly some of the poorest communities in the state. And we know that we're going to have to bring the full force of the federal family in there to come help them.
And I just want to point out that we are looking at those images, and those homes are completely wiped out. Should they rebuild?
Again, everybody's situation is going to be really specific and unique to them. It's, you know, tornadoes like this, it's really hard to predict exactly where they're going to go. I think the one thing as people start to think about rebuilding is whether or not they can put a safe room in and providing that level of protection, because right now the most important thing is making sure that people have a safe place to be when storms like this break out again in the future.
And there were tornado warnings in place, but what about access to those warnings? Warning sirens are not always reliable or in place even, and cell phones are good, of course, but 35% of the residents in the county live below the federal poverty line, and they may not carry cell phones with a warning system. How are they supposed to be warned?
I think it's something that we have to continually look at what we can do to better inform people. We know that there are sirens. I know that some sirens did go off. I don't have, you know, the exact picture of where they went off, but sirens are one of the best tools that we do have to give a wide spread of warning to people quickly, especially when you have nocturnal tornadoes like this that happen while people are asleep. Our emergency alert system that goes through the cell phones is another great way to get warning, but we need to really talk to these families and find out how they would have better gotten this message, because we have to always work on giving people early warning so they can take action, so they have enough time to take action to protect themselves and their families.
Okay, thanks so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. Safe travels.
Thank you, Martha.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.